England's women are back in action on Friday. They take on Sweden in their first Euro 2025 qualifier. They're training today. We can go live to St George's Park and speak to our reporter Anton Tolui. Has been watching Leah Williamson, which is good news given that she was substituted in that cup final on Sunday. How is she looking today, Anton?
Yeah, really good news, I think, for England. Really good news for Sarina Wiegman. And personally, very, very good news for Leah Williamson. Obviously, it's been almost a year since we've seen Leah Williamson wearing the three lions out there, either on the training pitch or playing in a game for England. Obviously, she's had her injury problems. But yeah, Williamson back training for the first time for England. It was non-contact for her today. Lots of sprinting drills first off, I think, to test that knee, make sure everything was all right after, like we were told, a minor problem with the knee that forced her off against Chelsea in the Conti Cup final at the weekend. Jonas Eidevall said he didn't want any risks taken with her from the club. And obviously, we saw England not taking any risks with Leah Williamson today. She did have the ball at her feet for a good part of the session as well, spraying balls around the training pitch, but she was on her own training, on her own individual programme. England's hoping that she will be available for selection come Friday night's game against Sweden at Wembley. At the moment, obviously, I think she's trying to do everything she can to prove that she will be ready for that game. England, the rest of the players kind of had all different players taking part in different parts of training, because obviously some players played 120 minutes in the Conti Cup final, some played in the WSL, some had a weekend off. So different look to England training today. But the one player obviously we were watching was Williamson, who is training with England for the first time, but not fully just yet.
Anthony, you mentioned there that England will be hoping that she is fit to play in that game. If she isn't, obviously still no Millie Bright either. Who will be the captain?
Yeah, I think England would. Millie Bright's the only player, really, England don't have at the moment in terms of their first choice squad. Obviously, she led England at the World Cup last summer. So there is a little bit of a leadership sort of vacuum. There's lots of players that have captained England in the past. Mary Earps has captained England before, as has Alex Greenwood. But it was actually Kira Walsh, wasn't it, who got the armband for the game, that England's last game against Italy. She was surprised to actually receive the armband for that game. So I think it'll be between one of those three players if Williamson doesn't start. Kira Walsh has gone from sort of one of the leadership groups to now all of a sudden kind of the almost de facto third choice captain in this England squad. Whether she retains that for such a big game against Sweden on Friday night, we're yet to find out. We're actually going to speak to Kira Walsh a little bit later on as well, so we'll find out her thoughts about potentially being England captain if Leah Williamson isn't there in the next couple of days.
And what about how Sarina Wiegman just manages her players during this camp, given that the games at both club and international level coming thick and fast?
Yeah, we've heard a lot, haven't we, from Sarina Wiegman about player welfare, the number of games the players are being asked to play. Remember, England, their international calendar doesn't stop until mid-July this season with the Euro qualifiers. So they're taking the players' sort of fitness and welfare very, very seriously. So the majority of the players that played most of the Conti Cup final were in the gym today and then came out to watch training effectively. So we saw Lauren James, Lotte Wubben-Moy, Niamh Charles all come out and just sort of watch training from afar after a session in the gym. We saw some of the players take part in a kind of light five-a-side game, sort of 15 outfield players take part in that. So again, lots of players sort of different types of training, some non-contact, some full contact, some just sort of, working on their own sort of recovery from the weekend. Because England obviously don't want to do anything to obviously make sure the players don't miss what will be a fascinating end to the domestic season. You've got Chelsea still in the Champions League as well. You've got FA Cup semi-finals coming up. There are so many games and so many big games for these players, both internationally and domestically, between now and the end of the season. England not taking any risks. But obviously, Sarina Wiegman will be very happy with the fact that all the players have trained in some capacity today. And at the moment, everybody is available for selection for that game against Sweden. The one question mark, obviously, is will Leah Williamson be ready?
We shall see. Anton, thank you very much indeed for the moment.